Today we're going to talk about the NFDI4Chem knowledge base. We're going to start off with talking a little bit about the NFDI. So if you're not familiar with the NFDI and NFDI4Chem, we'll give a brief introduction there. We'll talk about existing RDM knowledge bases, then the NFDI4Chem knowledge bases, and then some other offices and services that NFDI4Chem has to offer. So let's get started with the NFDI. So the NFDI was funded in 2018, and it's basically part of the federal government and state strategy to improve research data management and the research data infrastructure in Germany. And the way it works is there are separate consortia for each scientific subdiscipline representing the different sciences. So we are the consortium for chemistry, NFDI4Chem, and there are a whole host of different other consortia, as you can see on this slide. You have NFDI for biodiversity, NFDI for health, who deal with medicine, for example. It's not just natural sciences, you also have the humanities, life sciences, engineering sciences. And we collaborate with these different consortia to a different extent, with some closer than others. So for CAT, we have quite close collaboration because we have very similar target groups. And then maybe with the more human sciences, the NFDI for culture, we have maybe less interaction. So who are we? NFDI4Chem is very much a by the community for the community project. So we have active data producers, researchers within the consortium. We're excited to have learned societies on board, such as the German Chemical Society, the Pharmaceutical Society, and then also the Bunsen Society, and then also institutions from research data infrastructure. We have advisory boards we work closely together with, mainly from industry and from publishers, so everything goes in a concerted effort towards a fairer future. I always love seeing this slide because it really shows that we're not just a cluster of local institutions working on this. No, we're spread out throughout the whole Republic, and I think we pretty much have partners in every state, including Jena today. So it's really exciting to be part of this national concerted effort towards a fairer future of research data management in Germany. So why are we actually doing what we do? So if we take a look back through the past 100 years, in 1927, we have here a lab book from an unknown chemist from the Kaiser Wilhelm Society. And then if we fast forward about 60 years, we have the Cray 2, which is a supercomputer, which you could barely fit in a standard sized bedroom, very expensive, very big, but very heavy. And just in the short space of 30 years, you have the iPhone 8, which is a lot smaller than the Cray 2. You can fit it in your pocket, it's cheaper, pretty much everyone has one, and it's a lot faster than the supercomputers. So just in the short space of 30 years, an astonishing rate of development happened here. So let's have a look at a lab book from today. You can see in the space of almost 100 years, not that much has changed really. Yes, the paper is a bit whiter, the handwriting is a bit neater, but the real essence about how research data managed is still the same, right? So literally with pen and paper, still very in an analog way. So in terms of research data management and chemistry, there's still a lot of room for improvement. So NFDI4Chem's vision is actually that we digitize the whole entire research data lifecycle. So starting from experiment design, right up until the reuse of the data, we want to make the data fair. And the tools for this are electronic lab notebooks, repositories. For this, you need a whole host of common standards, and we need to involve the community to develop these new tools together. Of course, all of this goes with a lot of tools and a lot of knowledge, and you have to make this all available to the community. And one good way of doing this is via the use of knowledge bases. So let's have a look at some existing research data management knowledge bases. We're not going to talk about all of them today. We're going to talk about one in particular, which is called RDMKit. So this is what the website looks like. If you want to access it, you can either scan the QR code or click on the link. And the key points about RDM Kit is it's developed by Elixir Converge. If you're not familiar with Elixir Converge, then an intergovernmental organization that brings together resources from the life sciences, and they have databases, software tools, training materials, cloud storage, and so forth. It's also funded by the European Union's Horizon 2020 program, and it's really an interdisciplinary research data management knowledge base for life scientists. You have different points of entry, as you can see here, via a research data lifecycle, tasks in the research data lifecycle, or these things on the left here. So let's have a look at the points of entry in more detail. You could enter, for example, via your role, if you're a researcher or a PhD student, your domain, so be it chemistry, or if you have a specific task, you can enter via these broader topics, such as the data management plan, and then from that article, you can then access more specific topics. So we really like the way this knowledge base is structured. Another cool thing about it is that it's linked to a GitHub repository. So the articles here are written in Markdown. Markdown is really straightforward to learn. A lot of people already know it, and you don't really need to be an expert programmer to contribute to the knowledge base. And with GitHub, you already have two important features integrated, which is the participation, so everybody from around the world can contribute, and the review process is already integrated within GitHub. So contributions are reviewed via pull request, and then the editorial team can approve it. The limitations for chemistry. So here the articles are really written from a very interdisciplinary point of view and very general. So there are a lot of aspects that don't necessarily apply to chemistry, or the chemistry specific aspects are lacking. So it can be quite hard for chemists to actually find the information that's relevant to them specifically. So we identified the need for a chemistry-focused knowledge base, with the articles then being written from a chemistry point of view, and then via the knowledge base we will also provide chemistry-specific tools, data format standards, and external resources. I think someone else is on the phone here. If someone could mute that person, that would be fantastic. And then via the knowledge base, we also provide other output from NFDI4Chem. Okay, so without further ado, I will hand over to Ann-Christine, who will take you through the NFDI4Chem knowledge base.
Yes, so thank you, John. As John already said, RDM Kit has some limitations for chemists, and that's the reason why NFDI4Chem has developed a knowledge base that is specifically tailored towards chemists. And to start with, let's have a look at that. So here we have some background information about our knowledge base. The knowledge base was launched last year in December and is hosted by the Johannes Gutenberg University of Mainz. The first articles were written by experts from our consortium, and all the articles are about good research data management, how to do research data management, and you will find a lot of tools and recommendations for chemists. And here we have summarized some quick stats for you. So up to date, we have 34 articles that were written by 18 contributors. All the articles have together more than 30,000 words, and we have already around 830 commits on GitHub. And to check the knowledge base, you can click on this link or check the code here. Yeah, how do you get started with the knowledge base? So here you see the landing page. On top of this page, you have links to some resources such as our NFDI4Chem website, our terminology service, and FAQ. In the footer, you have links to our community pages, so to LinkedIn and Twitter. There are links to further resources, so our GitHub repository, for example, and there is some legal information. But let's get back to the points of entry here. So we have 5 points of entry that are shown as gray buttons here, and I will lead you through those points of entry now. So you can enter the knowledge base via your role, via your domain. You can search for handling data, topics, and concepts, and there is lead by example. or you click on this Get Started button, and then you come to an introduction page. On this introduction page, you have some information why RDM is important for chemistry. You will learn how to navigate a knowledge base, and all the points of entry are explained in detail. So if you click on a gray button, you will directly come to this section here. So let's start with the first point of entry, which is roles. Click on the button here, and then you come to this guiding page, which provides some general information about roles. And let's have a closer look at that. So up to date, we have 5 roles implemented, and all the articles about roles contain information about the motivation. So why should you do good research data management? You will learn how to get started with research data management. And all this is set in a framework so that you will learn why this is important for your role. Then let's have a look at an example here. So research group member. The article starts with the motivation for a research group member. You will learn about data handling along the data lifecycle. There are some recommendations provided how to start with research data management. And then let's go on with the next point of entry, which is domains. So click on the button here, and it's the same as in roles. You come to the guiding page. So let's have a look at the domains articles here. So the domains articles also cover the entire research data lifecycle. So first of all, you have a summary of the domain-specific profile, and then you have some information on how to plan experiments, how to document them, and how can you do data analysis and publication of research data in a fair way. So let's have a look at an example here to illustrate this. Here we have the synthetic chemistry. So click on the button, and then you see the article. So you see in the blue box on top of the article, there's the summary. You see the type of experiments. Here you have synthesis and analysis that are important. You see planning of experiments and the recommendation to use an ELN. In this case, we recommend the Chemotion ELN. Then you have the documentation of the experiments. And the important section here are the data producing methods. And here you can see there is a table with an overview of recommended proprietary file formats. So you have the analytical method, the proprietary file extension, the typical size of the file, a converter that is recommended here, the recommendation for open file extensions, and the file format. So let's have a look at the first example. So for NMR spectroscopy, JChemDX and NMRE data are recommended, for example. At the end of the article, you have information about data analysis and also about the publication of research data. Then let's go on with the next point of entry, which is handling data. So as the name already says, all these articles are about handling data topics. So data management plan is the article that I want to introduce you to. Then we have some articles with information about data organization, documentation, storage and archiving are also important. The article data publication is still under construction. And the last article here, how to choose the right repository, just arrived last week. So let's have a closer look at data management plan as example here. So look on the left side, go to handling data and click on data management plan. Then you see there is a short introduction with some general information. You learn why to use a DMP and what benefits do you have when you use a DMP. Then you have explained the view from the funder's perspective. Some DMP tools are presented and explained here. And at the end of the article, you have sources and further information. So here are a lot of links provided for further reading. And a lot of our knowledge-based articles have this. Then let's come to the next point of entry. So we call this topics and concepts. Here you have detailed articles about special topics and concepts. You will find a lot of tools and everything that is important for research data management and also all aspects that are important for digital chemistry. You can also find templates, and I would like to highlight here the data availability statement templates because they are now required by the Wiley journals. Okay, there is the article. So here you see the data format standards in chemistry. There are a lot of recommendations in this table here. There is some general information about data format standards, and the important aspect is the format standards for the analytical data that can be seen here. And there is also a section about some data format standards in fluorescence spectroscopy and important structural data here. Our knowledge base has also a search function, so you can search for articles, type in data organization here. Data format standard can also be typed in, and then you will find the article. So click on that button here, and then you will be automatically redirected to the article data format standard. The next point of entry is lead by example. Click on that button here, and then you see there is a short introduction on that page. We have collected a lot of publication dataset pairs here, so they are collected within NFDI4Chem and also with external partners. So you see here you have the author, the title, the UI of the publication, the repository, and the UI of the dataset. And this means that the publication and the dataset are stored separately. So the dataset is also stored in a repository here. Here you can see all those data sets. To contribute, you can click edit this page, and then you come to our GitHub repository. There you can edit the article. You can also create new articles. And when you have made changes, you can commit them here. And we have an editorial team to check your changes and all the new articles. And the last important aspect that I want to mention here is that everybody is welcome to contribute. And with this, I hand over to John again.
Thank you very much for that, for the tour of the knowledge base. So I just briefly want to end up with some of the offers you can benefit from. Obviously, I don't have time to talk through everything we do today. But if you have any questions on ELNs, DMPs, or FAIR data in general in a chemistry context, you can contact our help desk either via the button on the website, or write us an email, and usually you'll get a response fairly quickly by the appropriate expert. We briefly mentioned the ELN Chemotion earlier on. So Chemotion is not just an ELN, but it's also linked to the Chemotion repository. So Chemotion is a solution which covers the whole research data lifecycle, and its main focus here is the implementation of FAIR standards. It is continuously developed and maintained by people within NFDI4Chem. It's an ELN specifically for chemistry. Some key advantages are it's browser-based, so you can access it from any device you want. It doesn't have to be a Windows machine. And really, it's specifically designed for chemistry, so the drawing of chemical structures is very heavily integrated. You can actually analyze some of your data within it, and more functions are being continuously expanded. There's also a knowledge base for Chemotion, which is a comprehensive online manual. There's some introductory videos there, some in-depth videos there, and it really helps you with using the ELN. Every second Thursday, we have a Q&A session for the ELN, the next ones being on the 30th of June and the 14th of July. You can sign up and ask specific questions in advance, or if you like, you can get a general introduction to the ELN during the Q&A session. We have a YouTube channel, so if you prefer to learn by watching videos rather than reading articles on the knowledge base, we have also explained key RDM concepts here on our YouTube channel, and we are continuously adding videos to this. We have workshops, so we have a 2-day workshop on FAIR research data management, but this has been adapted to a chemistry point of view, so you can really learn the most about how to get started in RDM from a chemistry point of view. And we also have a 1-day workshop for the Chemotion ELN. Both of these workshops are free. Check out our website, you can sign up for them. At the end of every month, we have our Stammtisch. The way it works, we invite an external speaker who speaks about a specific topic, and then afterwards there's a half-hour discussion. So this is the unique format about it, that the discussion is given so much time. Past topics have been various ELNs, machine learning, different repositories, really a broad host of topics. And the next Stammtisch is actually this Friday with Professor Bradley Olson from America, talking about Big Smiles, which is a machine-readable code for large molecules. And again, you can sign up for this via our website. You can keep in touch with us, follow what we do via social media. So we have Twitter, LinkedIn, our homepage, and we release a newsletter every 3 months. So with that, I'd like to thank you for your attention, and we'll take any questions now.